What should be your answer?
Okay, we need to get started this morning. I think most of you saw your test last Thursday. Did I take up all the bonus work on Thursday? I think I did. Everybody credit. I had to turn in midterm grades for my night class. I didn't have any D's or F's. I've only got 10 in it though. And my tax class, I had no D's or F's. But two classes, this one and my next class, managerial, probably had about 40% F's, D's. So this class is supposed to have about 20. So there was at least 8 D's and F's. These people are not showing up though. They're not taking tests. Some of them are not, and so forth. But anyhow, accounting is something you have to keep up with. And I think class attendance has proved to help most of you grade-wise. All right, we need to get into chapter 6. It is a tough chapter. It has a lot of new information. It has a lot of new journal entries. It is a retail business. All right, we looked at service business for 4 or 5 chapters. Now a retail business for a couple of chapters. Chapter 5, it was just generic, not service or retail. It was just those journals. And I didn't put a lot of emphasis on those special journals. So we got 5 chapters to go this semester. We're half through, and midterm grades are half through. So semester's flying by.
Our next will be at the
Somewhere around there, we'll just have 2 more tests, Ryan. One will be in December, of course. And hopefully definitely one before Thanksgiving. Because when November Thanksgiving comes around, the semester's about over when you come back. So forth. So registration, I think it starts soon, doesn't it? For the what? Oh, okay. So pre-registration's coming up. Now, 2nd of November, isn't that the last day to drop a class?
Yes.
Yeah. And also what?
Register for, apply for graduation in May.
Is that also November the 2nd? So you guys don't graduate, do you?
Not this in May.
In May? Yeah, I've got a lot of county students that will graduate. I've got some that finishes up in December and some, of course, May. So you still got plenty of changes. We may have, I don't know if we have another test before the drop date or not. We'll have to wait and see. Some of you counted your test double. That'll prove to be okay, I guess. But anyway, chapter 6 has a lot of stuff. All right, The first generic entry you'll be making over and over. Now, if you're following along in your textbook, please look at page 286. And we're going to practice some of these things as we go. Try to get you to get a handle on this chapter. There's entries in it. There's two methods in it. There's periodic, and there's perpetual. There's discounts. There's sales discounts and purchase discounts, FOB information, and just a lot. So we got 5 chapters to go, 2 tests to go. That means one test I have to have 3 chapters. It probably will not be this test. This test will just be on chapter 6 and 7. Then the exam will be on the other 3 chapters. All right. Up until now, all accounting built. You didn't do chapter 2 well. Did bad on chapter 3. Didn't do chapter 3 well on adjusting entries. You didn't do well on chapter 4 of the worksheet, or adjusting entries and closing entries. But that is your building ground up through chapter 4. Now, the rest of these chapters, other than knowing debits and credits and journal entries, they'll stand alone. We'll have an easy chapter on bank reconciliation. We'll have a fairly easy chapter on inventory, and probably a chapter on depreciation. So they're going to stand alone. You don't have to know chapter 2 or 3 to get a bank reconciliation or to do inventory. All right. But here is a generic entry for buying merchandise inventory. You either buy it for cash or you buy it on credit. And by now, most of you have learned what on account means. It means accounts payable or accounts receivable, don't it? Depending on whether you're buying or selling. That's another thing in this chapter. We're going to know interest for buyer and we're going to know interest for seller. Now, an invoice, I'm not interested in you knowing a whole lot about that, but that would have any terms on it. And this one is 210 net 30. What does that mean, Ryan? 210 net 30?
Within 10 business days, we'll get 2%.
What's 2% of $3,000 without a calculator?
29.
What?
You're okay. Like,
It's
2% of 3,000?
yes,
$60.
How much?
$60.
60. Okay.
I was thinking how much it was to add.
Yeah. 2 3s are 6. And if you get the decimal right, you can always look. 10% would have to be 300. So these are called, of course, credit terms. 2% if you pay within 10 days. And that can be a sales discount or purchase discount. It works both ways. I encourage you to take those. If I can write on this thing or not. Yeah, I can. Okay. Now let's say you could not. Okay, let's say this item is a $3,000. Well, let's say it's $10,000. What would 2% be on $10,000? What's 2% of 10? All right, what's 2% of $10,000? 200. All right, now you have to pay it. Let's say this was 10/1. You have to pay it by 10/11 to get that discount, don't you? And if you don't pay it, you got to pay it by 10/31 anyway, don't you? Okay, so there's 20 days there you need money. Let's say you can't take this discount on that day. Now, do you know simple interest? You're going to go, now how much money would you have to borrow at the bank? If you wanted to pay it off today and take that discount, how much would you have to borrow? You'd have to borrow $9,800. That'd be your principal. let's say they charge you 10% and it's 20 days. We'll get this later, but do any of you know how to do simple interest?
That's where you get it up. That's a compound.
Do what?
It doesn't compound on the original.
No. Just find me interest, 10%. You're going to borrow this money from the bank to take that discount. Now, what do you have to put the 20 days over? We'll use a rounded year. We'll use 360 days in a year. It used to be called a banker's year. Now, can you work it out on your calculators? 9,800 times decimal 10 times 20 over 360? Do you know simple interest? Principal times the rate times the time. You learned this in 6th grade. How much? That sounds okay. Point what?
44.
Saw that on a tombstone one time, Jacob. 44 reminded me of it. Here lies Lester Moore, shot with a 44. No less, no more. So, epitaph on a tombstone. Anyway, would you pay $54 to save $200? Sure you would. So you can borrow it at the bank, pay 10% interest, get that $200 discount. Because that, I told you, that 2% for 20 days is equivalent to 18% savings in a year's time. Okay, so we will calculate discounts later. Credit terms, you can look over that in the book. Purchase discount, same as the sales discount. And they're doing the same thing here. They're using 360. And they're showing you the savings if you took the discount or you paid the bank, and they show you the difference. And it's equivalent to 36%. How they get that 36% is easy. You're borrowing money for 20 days, and there's 18. 20 into 360 is 18. And whatever the percent is, 2%. 2 times 18 is 36. Well, what if it was 5%? 5 times 18 is 90, isn't it? So I had a student in my night class one time, and she worked in accounts payable at her job. And I went over discounts and showed her, that's what I'm showing you now, what they can save. And she started doing that. Well, the boss's daughter wanted to pay the invoices at the first of the month. Didn't matter if you lost discounts or not. Her boss wanted her to take the discount. All right. The daughter went on a hunting trip. So while the daughter was gone, she took those discounts. Boss liked it. But when the daughter come back, she talked to her daddy and got my student fired. Fired over saving the company money. Okay? So take these purchases discounts. Now, what is that used for anyway? Why would a company give a discount if you paid in 10 days? They get cash flow real quick. And there's bad debts go down. Okay? And they can pay their accounts payable and save discounts. They give discounts, they save money, then they can take discounts. Okay, what entry then do we make? Accounts payable, we recorded as 2940 at net. Now we got cash, we had to pay out cash of $3,000. We did not take the discount. If you don't take the discount, you lose it, don't you? Some books call that discounts lost. But this book puts it into inventory. Your inventory costs you $60 more if you didn't take the discount. Purchase returns and allowance, we mentioned those items. You'll get a debit memo. Now, some places a company sends too much. Certain businesses, if you order 100 items, that manufacturer or supplier or wholesaler, they may just decide to send you 125 and charge you for it. Hope you won't catch it. Naturally, you're going to send back 25. You didn't want them in the first place. You don't want them to bill you for 25 extra. But companies will do that. All right, how do we record and return an allowance? All right, in our case, if we send it back, we debit accounts payable and we reduce our inventory. Well, the seller has to make some kind of entry too. He will reduce his accounts receivable and increase his inventory. So debit merchandise inventory and credit accounts receivable for the seller. All right, what happened here? We bought merchandise for $4,900. We took out the discount. We're recording that net. All right, we sent back $1,000, which is really only $980. So what do we owe? $39.20. So that's our accounts payable. Be sure to take off the discount, the return, and pay the difference. Now, on the seller's point of view, we have covered entries over to page 290. 290 starts the seller. We're going to look at these, then we're going to practice a few things in a minute. All right. This is without a discount. We debit cash or credit sales, or we debit accounts receivable and credit sales. I'll tell you, perpetual is more popular now because of computers. You can easily keep up with what you have on hand, and how about a grocery store? Are there cash registers sort of computers? Okay, now that cash register records an item so many times. Now when it gets low, let's say you've only got 5 left on the shelf. You know what that cash register does? It kicks into the mainframe computer somewhere and reorders. Okay? And automatically can print out an order without being handwritten. Now you got 2 entries when you sell something. All right? How much we sell that item for? $1,800? Well, we paid $1,200 for it. So you got a debit your cost of merchandise sold, credit merchandise inventory, it's gone. Now, once you post this, it takes it out of your inventory system. Have any of you ever used DBase? I know you've used Excel a lot, but have you never used DBase? Anybody? Nobody? I guess DBase will be good for keeping up with inventory, recipes, what have you. All right, we mentioned the credit cards. If you pay a credit card expense, debit your expense and credit cash. All right, most credit cards now is treated as cash. Which ones did they say? They mention them. MasterCard, Visa, American Express, they may treat it different. All right, sold merchandise on account, debit accounts receivable, credit sales, debit cost of merchandise sold, credit inventory. Now, you may grant a customer discount. You may grant 2%, just like in purchases. All right. Now, if you record at net, you would debit accounts receivable for the net and credit sales for the net. And debit cost of merchandise sold and credit inventory. Then you collect net and so on. The discount doesn't show up unless somebody don't take it. Then there's customers returns, allowances, and discounts. And this book, first book that's done this, calls it customer refunds payable. Damaged merchandise, $400. If it's on their accounts receivable, take it out of their accounts receivable. And you got to put it back in inventory. Refunds payable, estimated returns inventory. Now, if the inventory is okay, they resell it. But if it is damaged, they may refurbish it, or you can go to some of these outlet shops and buy it refurbished. Sometimes refurbished merchandise is as good as the original. You can return, it may be for cash or accounts receivable. But you got to put it back in the inventory and credit estimated inventory return. You want to keep up with your returns. If a company has too many returns for damaged merchandise, there's a problem, isn't there? Or if a company has too many returns for merchandise somebody don't like, there's a problem. Some places return policies is too liberal. Such as what, Ryan?
We return anything. Guy had a box. Guy had a box. This new, brand new. What's the yellow brand? Yeah, Dewalt tool set. So apparently he had an old set. So the brand new one, it's a brand new cable. He comes back 2 or 3 days later, said it didn't work. But the tools inside of it were the same brand, but the cable was like black, torn, ripped apart, everything. He said, "Oh, I plugged it in and it just like did this." It's like, but you can tell it had been used for a very long time because that yellow cable was not like.
Did Lowe's not question that?
No, they said it was. So he said he had the receipt, so they didn't. They took it back.
Well, it does pay to keep your receipt sometimes, or at Lowe's, if you got it on credit, they've got.
This woman at the front desk, I said that's not the tool that I sold her. She's like, "Well, you can't prove it's not."
But some places are real liberal. Some you have, if you don't have a receipt, they may still refund you, but you got to buy it at the store. They'll give you a store voucher or whatever, or credit card. Anyway,
If you buy discounted merchandise and then return it to the store, they'll give you a little card, which you then can go and sell outside for like $40.
you know, everybody in the country is not honest, are they?
Yeah.
How many of you consider yourself to be honest? How many of you consider yourself to be honest? 2 or 3 of you don't lie. Anyhow.
One thing we always had to watch out with because people would buy like our marked down items. So, you know, you can get a $1,000 rug for $30 because somebody bought it, didn't want it. You have to get rid of it. They'll rip off the return sticker, go to a different Lowe's, not have the receipt, so they just want to return it for store credit, get the full value of store credit.
Well, there's people out there, they know the gimmicks. And they use the gimmicks because everybody's not honest. I don't know what percent. I like to believe basically everybody's honest, but we're lucky if there's 90% honesty in this country. All right, here are your debit accounts receivable, credit sales, debit your cost of merchandise sold, credit inventory. Here you've got, you received cash, and here you had a refund, and those are entries we're going to practice. Okay, we're going to practice a few entries before we proceed. So let's turn over to a couple of exercises. I want to try exercise 8 and 9. Just put it on plain white paper. Page 322. Okay, did that flash was, did I pick that up? Somebody hold.
You need this right here.
Exercise, practice, exercise 8 and 9. Marco was too lazy to try to do it.
There.
They pass it over, so.
All right. Do the best you can, work together, go back in the book. We have covered a few of these exercises. You've got 10 journal entries. And I'll put some of the purchase ones up here, but they're all in your book. Do the purchase one first.
All that stupid.
I don't know where he got 87 or 85 from. Nowhere in that book it said it was 85. It said it was 65 or 75. But you know, he was asking me about that on Friday. It's like, what you doing with that?
It's like, I looked at it, sir. I apologize.
Oh yeah, and then he kept asking me how I was supposed to do it. That's not how this works. You're the engineer.
I tell him that.
But you know, he did not apply. He did not like go in. Yeah. Okay, so just let you know, there were 4 wires in that application, white and neutral. Oh, neutral were tied together. Or like 2 of the wires were tied together. Like with black. There was no ground in the box. There was not even a box. The light was just mounted to the side of the building. He's like, oh, I didn't want to part with this box. I was like, sir, don't see me come over. No, we don't have to do that. I was like, I'm pretty sure when I saw these things at Lowe's, I felt people can't do that. It's like, yeah, you got these 2 screws here, we'll be 350 mounted to the side of the building.
The outside light? Yeah, it was an outside light.
Outdoor wire? Just 12 too.
It's just like 14 gauge wire. And then he didn't have like anything, like he only had this like a box, like a hand
Stuff, he was like, man, you're qualified. I was like, I don't want this guy. Around the car with me.
He said he's gonna be out here driving. This one's got broken. So.
I thought I came to fix it. It's in the water.
Yeah, so he had all of his interiors set down.
Discovered that $18,000.
Yeah, but then I kept dropping the lights off up there. I kept dropping the lights a couple times.
He didn't have the cash because,
Okay, for the purchases one, what would you debit for that first entry? Not inventory, that credit what? Right, for what amount?
88.2.
You took out the discount, right? Let's look at a couple of these as we go along. All right. Well, did I miss one? Something, did I miss?
That's 7, you told us 8, 9.
Yeah, 8, 9.
It was up there.
Well, I know, but it's got a little overlap or something here, don't it? Is this it? Right?
Yeah.
Debit merchandise inventory and credit accounts payable, 88,200. Okay, continue. We'll look at the rest of those in a minute.
But yeah, he's trying to, he got one of those cheap ones for fun. It's like, I bought this.
He's funny.
Okay. I want you to do fast. He's trying to get this done.
Okay, now what entry will we make if we pay them out within the discount period? What entry do we make?
Debit accounts receivable, 88,
And credit?
cash.
Now, if we return some of this merchandise, we will get cash because we already paid off all of our accounts payable. But hopefully we don't return any of that. Okay, C entry. We discovered that 18,000 of the merchandise purchased and A was defective and returned terms receiving credit for $17,640. What entry do we make there for that return?
Debit cash for 7.
And credit what? No. What are you sending back? Credit what's in? Okay, now Kelly, on C part, was this the one you had a question on? It wasn't, was it? Now on C part, we purchased this from Wright Company. We've already paid Wright Company in full. But here, by rights, Wright Company should give us cash. I would take cash here or accounts payable. We're gonna have a funding balance in our accounts payable. But they have to give us cash for this unless we buy more merchandise. What? Okay, when you got the refund, that will be cash. Okay, what's this next entry, D? What is entry D?
Debit merchandise inventory of $10,000.
Do we not have a discount offer on this one? We bought inventory and credit accounts payable. Was there no credit terms on it?
It says in terms of 30, but it didn't specify that we got the purchase date.
Terms are net 30, no discount. Okay, and the last one's one Kelly was talking about, received a refund from Wright. Now we can debit cash because we got a refund in our pocket. And we credit accounts payable. Get rid of that account payable. Well, Wright, we should have received cash here. It would have omitted that entry. Now that's a few entries on purchasing. Now try to practice a few entries on sales, that next exercise. We'll take a lot of practice in this chapter, folks. If someone's out there live streaming, you should be practicing with us. And I think it was Melissa. I got your telephone message. Yes, it's all right to take the test on Wednesday at Greenbrier. Big change, same with some of those engineering, so switching over to county.
Yeah,
Big change.
I'm looking at it, it's like, no angle.
Somebody's smart.
You're just gonna make a mistake, kidding, I think. I'm your only friend.
You remind me of Cyril, the guy that owns the tree school.
Just fit in that.
I want to at least have enough basic understanding of how things
It's like ours.
I don't think they actually did that.
We should start it up.
Hey, you're ready to help those words. You support my your business so much.
Yeah, you don't want to come back to me.
Really deep to just something.
I bet there's a degree saying something about clients.
I see.
No, I don't watch sports.
Yeah, you mentioned the fire. You mentioned the fire. They'll get the insurance. I'm pretty sure. Sorry.
Okay, on the selling side, we sold merchandise for cash and it cost 72, but we sold it for 116. Alexander, how about one of those entries?
The first one, you would debit cash for 116,300, and then you would credit sales for 116,300.
All right, and what's the other one that goes with it?
You would debit cost of merchandise sold for 72,000, and then you credit merchandise inventory for 72,000.
Okay. I don't know what's happening here again, too. The 72,000.
The second one.
All right. Cost of merchandise sold and credit inventory 72. But what we debit up here, cash, was it 116? Cash, see how these overlap, and you credit sales. Oh, look at these two, debit cash and credit sales. They're messed up. Sold merchandise on account, 755,000. Okay, the other, Alexander, how about that one?
You would debit accounts receivable for 755, and then credit sales for 755.
All right, debit accounts receivable, credit sales. What's the other entry?
Debit cost of merchandise sold for 400,000, and credit merchandise inventory for.
Same entry, one's cash, one's accounts receivable. Okay. Your name is Alexander. You want to know this stuff. You're doing good. So. All right, how about C part? We sold merchandise to customers who use MasterCard and Visa. The cost of merchandise sold. Okay, what are we going to debit on that one? Same as a cash sale, isn't it? Because they take those right down to the bank, get their money, don't they? Take them right down to the bank, get their money. Now, if there's one that they can't do, probably if it's American Express, they'd have to debit accounts receivable. And then bill American Express card. All right. We sold merchandise who used American Express. Now, don't know what the book said about different about this one, but let's go ahead and look at it. Well, are they also using American Express as cash? It looks like it. There's one of them. It could have been. Now on this one, what in the world was D? Let's see. Is something missing on D there? Cost of merchandise sold.
Yeah, they're missing.
Missing your credit, aren't you? Cost merchandise inventory 230. Then the last entry you can see, you got to pay the credit card company and your credit cash. Now that's a little bit getting into purchases and sales. Now, how many's been working on this chapter on scene games? How far are you, Ryan?
Yeah, like 40%.
40%. Say, so you passed 40%?
About 50%.
About 50. All right. Need to get busy with scene games. That's the same as your homework. Now we're going to flip back to PowerPoint if I can find it. All right. That was sales, which we've looked at. Hey, Philip, what are you doing here so early?
Getting ready to go on over.
Over where?
Over to my other job.
Oh, over to the other building.
Yeah. Take care of them today, Perry.
I'm trying to. The left showed up today. The liberals,
Yeah.
the right, the conservatives, not many of them showed up.
Uh-oh. You got work hard.
Anyway, when's the cutoff date on that job? This week? Did you what? Oh, does it? I will find something out from work here. Okay. For those of you majoring in accounting, that will be your accounting instructor next year. A lot of your courses, Mr. Heimel. But you'll do okay with him, okay? All right, where were we? Down to the selling entries, customer allowances, credit memorandum. And we didn't do any of these yet on the refunds payable. We were making these journal entries. Kelly, read that top one there and see what you think. So she's taking her 2% of 7,500, which is what she should be doing.
And debit accounts receivable of Smith Incorporated for $73.50.
$73.50, $150 discount, and credit what?
Sales.
Okay, then how about this number?
Cost of merchandise sold is $25 and merchandise inventory.
Okay. And Dylan, how about this entry? Receive payment from the sale, just debit what? Now, we receive payment, we debit. Just debit cash and credit. Accounts receivable. Okay, that's all you do. Issued a credit memo on return merchandise that was sold for $4,000. Terms net 30. The cost of merchandise return was $22.75. Now, anybody on that one, when we receive this merchandise back, going to take two entries. One here, one here. That merchandise is returned. So I want you to look at these entries. on this one, you would debit customer refunds payable and you would create accounts receivable. So that one new account, customer refunds payable, it used to be called sales returns and allowances, and they've changed it to customer refund payable. I like the old one better on this case. Now here, you got to put it back in inventory. Debit merchandise inventory, and before they used to credit cost of goods sold. And they've changed that to estimated returns inventory. And you'd have to take that from your cost of goods sold on an income statement. I tried to tell you about this FOB. Now, if it's shipping point, who owns the merchandise, buyer or seller? At the day it's loaded up at the factory or the warehouse, who owns it? The buyer's going to do what? Pay the freight. So he must own it. It's his inventory. He's got to get insurance on it. Now, if he pays the freight, it's the inventory, don't it? Just like you order something and they add taxes to it and they add shipping, that is your cost. The destination, the seller pays for the freight. And that should be called delivery expense. All right, the seller sells merchandise. He makes his 2 entries. He makes 1 more. All right, now I want you to look. This is in your book. This is the seller. This is the buyer. All right, look at that. We're going to practice another little exercise.
Still in chapter 6. We're going to
The what?
We're still in chapter 6.
Chapter 6? Yeah. Still should be, yeah. I'm trying to find appropriate item, and I can't do that yet. The appendix is, of course, periodic. I don't have a good exercise. All right. I want you to go back to exercise 8. Exercise 8, who is that? The buyer? All right, make entry for the seller. I don't have a solution to it. So if we got a buyer, we can have a seller. I couldn't find the appropriate exercise, so we'll improvise. Simply make entry for the seller for exercise 8.
I don't know what the cost of merchandise sold.
All right,
They bought it for 90, somebody sold it.
purchase 90,000 of merchandise. All right. We know the selling price is 90,000. Let's say the cost was 80,000. Good point. Cost was 80. D part, let's say that cost 7,000. D part, let's say that cost 7,000. So let's give that a try, just trying to improvise with it. All right, let's try this. Okay. We know for the seller, it looked like this. And for the buyer, your debit accounts receivable credit sales for how much? I mean, for the seller, how much was that? Is it 90? All right, did we have a discount? In the book, I don't know if we had a discount or not. All right, so we would debit accounts receivable for how much? 88,200, right? All right, and credit sales 88.2. Then with debit cost of goods sold, I told you what, 80,000? 80,000. Credit merchandise inventory, 80,000. Okay, that takes care of entry one from a seller's point of view. All right. Entry two, paid the amount owed on the invoice within the discount period. Okay. We're going to receive what? Something like this, debit cash for how much? And credit accounts receivable, how much? All right, so that second entry would look something like this bottom entry. Now the third entry, discovered that 18,000 of merchandise purchased was effective and returned, receiving credit for, well, we got the numbers there, don't we? 17,640. All right. I don't see, do I have returned merchandise up here? I don't, do
I think we need to go to the next slide.
Yeah, you had 2 pages of those, didn't you? Very good, thanks. All right, so we're gonna have to do what, this one?
I think so.
Debit customer refunds payable for how much?
17,640.
All right, and credit accounts receivable. Now, debit merchandise inventory for how much? They give you a cost there, 17 something? And credit estimated return. Yes, Margot, you're right, that is it. Purchased 10,000. That'd be the same as selling 10,000. So we're gonna debit accounts receivable 10,000, credit sales 10. Then we're gonna debit cost of merchandise sold 7 and credit merchandise inventory 7, because I told you this, I gave you the 7 figure, didn't I? Okay, and then received refund from right company. Now this entry, how do we handle that when we receive that refund? Would we just debit cash for 2,500 and credit what? We debit cash and credit what on this refund?
Just return it.
Have to put some kind of estimated inventory return, but, all right, now, I'm just giving you an idea of what we're in for on this chapter, buyer and seller, buying and selling, purchases and sales. Okay. All right, now, if you're looking at your book, it's got all these illustrations in it. And page 298 is also a good page. Good page for buyer and seller. Now sales taxes, just for a moment. What is West Virginia sales tax?
6% overall.
6% overall?